Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and sometimes downright weird corners of the English language, collective nouns. You know, words like a flock of sheep or a herd of cattle. But trust me, it gets so much more interesting than that. Have you ever wondered what you call a group of rhinos? Or a bunch of owls? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know the answers, but also have a whole new appreciation for the richness of our vocabulary. So, what exactly is a collective noun? Simply put, it's a word used to define a group or collection of people, animals, or things. Think of it as a single name for a multitude. We use them all the time, often without even thinking about it. We talk about a team of players, a class of students, or a family. These are the everyday collective nouns that are part of our core vocabulary. They're straightforward and practical. You might see a bunch of grapes at the store, or listen to a tung choir sing. These words help us speak more efficiently. Instead of saying, "Look at all those individual players working together," we just say, "Look at that team." Easy, right? But this is where the fun really begins. The English language is a treasure trove of wonderfully specific and evocative collective nouns, especially for animals. Many of these date back to medieval times, particularly to the tradition of hunting. Gentlemen of the era took great pride in knowing the correct terminology, and this has left us with a legacy of incredibly poetic and descriptive terms. Let's start with some of the most well-known, yet still delightful examples. We all know a pride of lions. The word pride perfectly captures the majestic, regal, and family-oriented nature of these big cats. Then there's a school of fish. This one makes sense when you see them moving in perfect, synchronized harmony, almost as if they've been taught to do so. And what about a pod of dolphins or whales? It gives you a sense of a tight-knit, intelligent group navigating the vast ocean together. These are not just random words. They are chosen to reflect the very essence of the group they describe. Now, let's venture into some of the more unusual and perhaps lesser-known collective nouns. Get ready, because some of these are brilliant. How about a parliament of owls? This term likely comes from the perception of owls as wise and solemn creatures, sitting together as if in serious debate. I love that imagery. Or a murder of crows. This one sounds a bit grim, but it's thought to originate from old folklore and superstitions that associated these intelligent, black birds with death and dark omens. It's incredibly dramatic, isn't it? And it doesn't stop there. A group of rhinoceroses is called a crash. Can you picture it? A crash of rhinos charging across the savannah. The name is just perfect. It's onomatopoeic, almost. You can hear the sound and feel the ground shake just by saying the word. A group of giraffes is called a tower, which is beautifully descriptive, referencing their incredible height as they stand tall above the plains. When they're moving, however, they can also be called a journey of giraffes. It paints such a wonderful picture. Let's talk about some birds. You might know a flock of birds, but did you know a group of starlings is called a murmuration? If you've ever witnessed this phenomenon, you'll know why. It's a breathtaking, swirling, pulsating cloud of thousands of birds moving as one. Murmuration perfectly captures the soft, humming sound their wings make. And what about a gaggle of geese? This term is usually for when they're on the ground. The word itself sounds a bit noisy and chaotic, just like a group of geese. But when they're flying, they form that famous V shape, and they're called a skein of geese. Isn't that elegant? The world of insects has some great ones too. We're all familiar with the swarm of bees, which immediately brings to mind a buzzing, moving cloud. but you can also have a colony of ants, which highlights their organized, city-like social structure. A group of caterpillars is an army, which is fitting as they march along, devouring leaves in their path. And a group of butterflies, a kaleidoscope. I mean, how beautiful is that? It perfectly describes the vibrant, fluttering colors of a group of butterflies in the sun. But why should we care about all these obscure words? Are they just trivia for language nerds? Not at all. Using precise and interesting collective nouns can dramatically enhance your writing and speaking. It adds color, imagery, and a level of sophistication to your language. Imagine you're writing a story. Instead of saying, "A group of crows sat on the branch," you could write, "A murder of crows sat on the branch." The second sentence immediately creates a more vivid and atmospheric picture in the reader's mind. It changes the entire mood. It's about choosing the right word for the job. Saying "a tower of giraffes" instead of "a group of giraffes" instantly makes your language more memorable and engaging. It shows that you have a deeper command of English and a richer vocabulary to draw from. It's a way to play with language and have fun with it. These words are little pieces of history and poetry embedded in our everyday communication. And it's not just for animals. While less common, there are interesting collective nouns for people and things too. We might talk about a board of directors, a panel of experts, or a cast of actors. For things, you might have a fleet of ships, a string of pearls, or a galaxy of stars. Each word is carefully chosen to fit the context. You wouldn't say a flock of ships, would you? So, how can you start incorporating these into your own vocabulary? The first step is awareness. Just by watching this video, you've already learned a handful of new ones. Start paying attention to them when you read. Classic literature, poetry, and even nature documentaries are fantastic sources. When you encounter a new one, don't just memorize it. Think about why that specific word was chosen. What image does it create? A business of ferrets, for example. It makes you think of them being busy and scurrying around, doesn't it? Or a skulk of foxes, which perfectly captures their sly, sneaky nature. Let's recap a few of our favorites from today. A crash of rhinos, a parliament of owls, a murder of crows, a tower of giraffes, a murmuration of starlings, and a kaleidoscope of butterflies. Which one is your favorite? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear if you have any other cool collective nouns that I didn't mention. Learning about collective nouns is like uncovering a secret layer of the English language. It's a journey into history, culture, and the pure joy of words. They are a testament to our ancestors' close observation of the natural world and their creative impulse to name things in a way that was both accurate and poetic. So next time you see a group of animals, pause for a moment and wonder, is there a special name for them? You might be surprised at what you find. Thank you so much for joining me on this linguistic adventure today. I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the charming world of collective nouns. If you found this video interesting and learned something new, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on our future explorations of the English language. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.